Hello everyone, am I audible? One second, yeah. Good evening, Muthu. Yeah, just starting. Yeah, I guess we can start. Uh, can you guys see my slide?
Sir.
Okay, thank you. So, good evening, all. Welcome to the ninth session of our problem solving discussion for the topic NOC 22 C68 Ground Improvement, which is an NPTEL course. Currently, this course is being tutored by Professor Dilip Kumar Bedia, who is head and professor in Department of Civil Engineering from IIT Kharagpur. Myself, Rituraj Singh Sujawat, I am Prime Minister's Research Fellow in Department of Earthquake Engineering, IIT Roorkee. So the basic objective of this 1 hour session is we are going to revise the concepts which we have covered in the last week, and we are also going to solve some sample problems related to those concepts which is going to help you in solving your assignment problems concerning with that particular week. And also if you have some technical or non-technical query other than the sample problems, we can discuss that also. So like let's start with our sample questions for today concerning with this week. So this week was all about the soil stabilization with the help of the lime or other admixtures, and also we are going to solve some of the sample questions related to the groutability also, which we have covered in the previous week. So the first question for you is, the aim of soil stabilization is to increase the A. Seepage, B. Bearing capacity, C. Shear strength, D. Both B and C. Yeah, so the correct answer is the D option. So with the help of the soil stabilization, which we are taking help of the lime or other materials, basically we are altering some of the uh, global level global level characteristics of the soil, so which is going to help us in increasing the bearing capacity. Also it will reduce the seepage of the soil if there is a very large amount of permeability or the void ratio available. So with the help of the soil stabilization we are going to decrease that. So yes, both B, bearing capacity, and yeah, shear strength, we are going to solve with the help of the soil stabilization. Second question, cement stabilization is generally used for stabilizing which type of soil? Also, if you are having any doubt with any of the question, like if I'm going too fast, you can stop me right there. Okay. Is the problem with everyone? Like since the slide is being shared at my end, Suresh, can you confirm? Like, are you able to see my slides or not?
Yeah, I'm saying.
Okay, let me reshare it again. It's visible now, I guess. Wait a second. I guess there's some network issue at my end. One second, guys. Is it visible now?
Yeah, visible.
Okay. So yeah, second question is, for which type of soil we are going to use cement stabilization? A. Sand, B. Gravel, C. Clay, D. All of this. Yeah, so the correct answer is D. All of these. So for every type of soil, we can go for the cement stabilization, because this is a type of admixture, or we can say the additive material, which can be put into any type of the soil, and it will help us in altering the property of the sand, gravel, as well as the clay. So I guess it's straightforward. Any query in this? So basically you can alter the properties of the cement as per the soil. So for the gravel you can take a type of cement which is having the higher density, or if for the clay you can take the cement which is having the very fine content. So this cement stabilization you can go for any type of soil. Going for the third question, the strength of soil lime stabilization depends on content of the soil type. So how the soil lime stabilization will vary the property of the soil. So which content of the soil type will affect the soil lime stabilization? Yeah, Muthu. Clay is born with lime to compare them. But yeah, lime is also a type of, we can say it's additive only, right? Yeah, lime is better, but we can go for the cement also for changing the properties of the clay. We are not saying that lime can't be used or it's restricted, but yeah, and so that's why cement is also an option. So we are not saying that lime can't be used, but yeah, cement can also be used for all three of them. There are some cases where you can't go for the, like where you can go for the cement also, in case if the cost is not what we can say a parameter to decide the type of stabilization. So in that case, yeah, clay is definitely an option we can do. Okay, Muttu, any particular query? I guess if I had answered that, means yeah, your concern is right, the lime is better, but we can, but the question is based on whether we can use cement for that or not. So yeah, definitely we can use cement also for the stabilization. Question number third, the strength of soil lime stabilization depends on which content of the soil type. So the correct answer is pozzolana. So pozzolana is a type of content which is available in the soil type. So it's basically a particular, what we can say, chemical component of the soil which is responsible for strengthening of the soil stabilization. So this is just a theory part. So yeah. Any doubt like how pozzolana is the answer? Yeah, so coming to the fourth question. So what is the name of the point when the plastic limit start decreasing on increasing the lime content? So I guess before this fourth question I'll like to okay, you can solve the fourth question. What is the name of the point when plastic limit start decreasing on increasing lime content? uh, no, it's not plastic reduction point. So in the lecture series, in the lecture note, it's mentioned. So yeah, it's known as the lime fixation point. So just to give you an overview. So this is the lime content, we can say, and this is the plastic limit. So as you will increase the lime content in the soil, the plastic limit of the soil will keep on increasing, but at a particular point the plastic limit will start decreasing. So this particular point we can tell as lime fixation point. So I guess yeah, it's just a nomenclature. So the point where the plastic limit is decreasing, even though the lime content is increasing in the soil, that point is basically known as the lime fixation point. Going to the next question. So yeah, increase in lime content results in, so I've just discussed in the previous slide, so that's why I was thinking to give this question as first, but yeah. Yeah, you can say before the lime fixation point how the lime content is altering the, what we can say, the Atterbuck limits of the soil. You can go through your lecture slides also if you are having those with you, and you can find out like where it is available. Or I have already discussed like how the lime content is uh, altering the plasticity index or the other Atterberg limit in the soil. Yes. Last one. So yeah, I have discussed in the previous slides. So up to the lime fixation point, if you are increasing the lime content, the plastic limit of the soil will keep on increasing. So increase in lime content. Okay. So in the question it's asked, yeah, definitely. So since the plastic limit is increasing, so lime content is increasing, and therefore plastic limit will increase. So there definitely, you know, plasticity index equals to liquid limit minus plastic limit. So since your plastic limit is increasing, your plasticity index is going to decrease. Any query in this? So going to the next question. On addition of lime to clay soil generally, so we are having the maximum dry density and optimum moisture content graph with us, like usually which we use for the compaction at the site. So if we add that lime to that particular site soil, so how it's going to alter the maximum dry density and optimum moisture content graph, or the compaction graph you can say. On addition of the lime to clay soil generally, A option, maximum dry density decreases, optimum moisture content increases, maximum dry density increases and OMC decreases. Both maximum dry density and optimum moisture content increases. Both maximum dry density and optimum moisture content decreases. Okay. D or C, Muthu? Final. C. Okay. Any other answer other than C? So the correct answer is A. So why it's so? I'll tell you. So for example, let me show you the other side. So if this is the graph you are having, if this is the maximum dryad density, we can say gamma d max, and this is the moisture content. So for example, initially before adding the lime, we are having some trend of the maximum dry density with the moisture content like this. But what it is observed, like since with the addition of the lime, after adding the lime, like this is without the lime, and after addition of lime, your graph will shift like this. So what will happen, the maximum dry density, this is the maximum dry density and this is the optimum moisture content. So your optimum moisture content is increasing, but yeah, your maximum dry density is decreasing. So therefore the correct answer is A. So basically with the addition of the lime, your moisture content is increasing, so therefore the optimum moisture content will also increase. So that's why if you are adding lime to the soil, so you need to see that also you are increasing the moisture content. So therefore if you go for the compaction at the site, so it's not necessary that lime addition will always help you, because in case if the water availability is less, or if the amount of the water which is required to compact the soil is less, so in that case the lime addition won't help us in achieving the required strength, or it will alter the compaction properties. So therefore you need to optimize the addition of lime also while stabilizing the soil. Any query in this? So yeah, going to the next question. So question number 7 to 10 is basically based on groutability only. So this is the, what we can say, it's the design parameter for the how much pressure you want to apply if you want to inject a particular grout at a particular location in the soil profile. So the question is as follows: at a site, a layer of loose medium sand with D15 equals to 0.09 mm exists between 5 and 6 meter. The groundwater table was at a depth 3 meter below the ground surface, and the permeability of the soil is 1 mm per second. It was decided to improve the site by injection grouting using silica gel grout having a range of diameter 1.2 to 2 micrometer with D85 equals to 2 micrometer. Viscosity is 7 centipoise and unit weight is equal to 10.8 kN per meter cube. If the grout injection is planned at a rate of Qg equals to 1.3 meter cube per hour, assume viscosity of water as 1 centipoise and radius of grout penetration r equals to 0.3 meter and radius of injection source r naught equals to 0.015 meter. So yeah, you need to determine the groutability of the soil. So this groutability of the soil, like we have solved in our previous assignment also. So 7 to 10 is based on this question only. So the various parameters related to the soil type or the groutability material is given. So you just need to determine first question, the groutability of the soil. Let's have 3-4 minutes on this question. Yeah, then I'll discuss this. So let me give formula to you guys. So groutability of the soil is basically given as ratio of the soil particles having a size of D15 by D85. Yeah. So yeah, groutability of the soil, it's the ratio of the size particles, which is the ratio of D15 by D85. D15 is given by 0.09 mm. D85 is 2 micrometer, which is basically 0.002 mm. So decimal 9 by 2. So yeah, I guess this is 90 by 2, 45. So the groutability of the soil is 45. The grout to water viscosity ratio. So we just need to find the ratio of the grout viscosity to water viscosity.